Hello, everyone. Welcome to twitch.tv/Plastic Age Plays. Dusting off my personal Twitch today because I have a wonderful group of people that I have the privilege of sharing the screen with today, all of whom are currently running a project on a Kickstarter, or at least involved with a project that's currently on Kickstarter. So let's go ahead and meet our panel of roundtable guests. First off, Eddie, if you could please tell us who you are, what you do, what you are here to promote, and your pronouns, please.
Sure. My name is Eddie Webb. My pronouns are he, him. I am currently a freelance RPG and video game writer. But one of my major clients is Onyx Path Publishing, and I am one of the developers on the Curseborn Player's Guide, which is the first player's guide / major supplement for the Curseborn game, which I'm sure we'll talk more about during the course of this panel.
Absolutely. Very exciting to see that coming to fruition. Uh, Thank you so much for being here. Next up, Joshua, if you would please share with us all of your pertinent information.
Hello, I'm Joshua Deach, he, him. Currently, I am a senior writer over at Funcom. I write for video games and tabletop games, video games like Age of Conan, The Secret World, and most recently, Dune Awakening. Today, I'm here to talk about the TTRPG adaptation of The Secret World and a Kickstarter for the Savage Worlds version of it.
Excellent. Love having you here. Always a pleasure. Um, at some point, we'll have to get a little bit sidetracked about how relevant Dune seems to have been becoming recently. That's been a topic of
It's
conversation.
depressingly easy to write the Harkonnen.
I bet. Yeah. It writes itself. There's a Baron even. So before we get too far sidetracked, Natasha, please save us. Um, Tell us who
Hi
you are
there,
and
my
what you're
name's Natasha. You can find me here on Twitch at Natasha Tuskovich Designs. My pronouns are she or any, can't screw it up. I'm here to promote a new indie RPG. It's about witches. It's on Kickstarter right now. It's already fully funded and we're kind of flying through some stretch goals, so hopefully we'll hit a couple more. I've got to think up some new ones now. Yeah, it's kind of a fun very creative storytelling, freeform RPG with some magic and some fun stuff like that.
Awesome. Looks like a good time. Looking forward to checking that out here in the near future, and have already run over and backed it myself. Thrown the link to all of those lovely Kickstarters in the chat. And then, of course, I, Travis Legg, am currently raising money for the Scarred Lands Savage Worlds Player's Guide Kickstarter, which is now fully funded and also currently unlocking stretch goals. So, folks, we are here to talk about all these various things that we're raising funds for. As you saw, we have 4 different games we're here to discuss. We're all going to talk about the process. We're all going to talk about what we dig about those games, and we will happily answer any questions that you might have. If you could, please type question in the chat or use your I don't know if we have channel currency over here actually for you to highlight your message. If we don't, I apologize. It's been a while. I need to clean the dust webs, the cobwebs off this thing. But either way, if you have a question, please let us know what that question is. I will make sure that I run those by our folks. So first off, probably, and we'll just start it because people who are fans of this channel probably have a little bit more exposure to Scarred Lands and Curseborn and all things Onyx Path than perhaps some of the other stuff. So let's kick it off first with our indie friend, Natasha. If you could talk a little bit about just, I guess, the basics of Witch's Path and how that functions.
Indeed.
Yeah, so it's kind of vaguely inspired. I got inspired last year when I first created this game when I was watching the TV show Agatha All Along. So kind of the concept of a bunch of players who are all witches in their own independent right, kind of coming together, trying to achieve a goal. The default adventures are the same kind of like idea where you're going through trials. kind of walking along a path in order to hopefully get your wishes granted or whatever it is you're looking for as a character. And one of the really cool things about it is that it uses a tarot deck as a mechanic system. So instead of dice, you're pulling cards from a tarot deck. Comes with kind of some more interesting results based on some of the specific cards instead of just 1 to 20 system, etc. And you can also play it without that if you don't have a deck, but that's kind of one of the cool features of it to kind of differentiate it and really immerse it in its atmosphere.
That's awesome. That sounds super fun, and I'm always a huge fan of different ways to marry the mechanics with the feel of the setting or the premise of the game. So that sounds like a really cool approach to that. If you could, Josh, if you could please tell us, for those of us who might not know, what is the Secret World, and where did it come from, and how did it wind up being adapted into a tabletop game?
So yeah, the Secret World is a originally an MMO game by Funcom, released I think back in 2012.
Yeah.
And yeah, it is a modern day supernatural romp that the tagline is everything is true. And if you just imagine that every conspiracy theory, cryptid, bit of folklore, urban legend, all that is kind of true simultaneously in various forms, and the world is just surrounded by strange preternatural things, and there are several factions, conspiracies that they all want to save the world, but they also want to control the world. And you play people who work for some of these organizations. Um, and yeah, it was an MMO. It had its own cult following, a very role-playing heavy following. I've worked on a bunch of video games, and that's the one that I am still in the most consistent contact with players, even years later. So it was great to see it brought to the tabletop, because they were already doing that role playing anyway on social media and whatnot. And now, yeah, they can continue those storylines. The good people at Star Anvil Studios, it's just one of those situations of if you don't ask, you'll never get. And they asked Funcom if they could purchase the rights to do a tabletop game, and they got them. And originally, it was released as a D25E rule set. And more recently, they did the Savage Worlds, and the current Kickstarter is for the physical print copies of those. And that includes that's funded now, but they're going through all kinds of crazy extras. There's dice, there's audio fiction, different hard copies of things like, I think, figures and
Yes, I saw there were like
decks of cards.
decks of cards and bennies as in the stretch
Yes.
goals, so lots of cool stuff. So and just did they approach you then based on the fact that you had worked on the Secret World to write on it?
Yes, yeah. The Secret World has a pretty sprawling, crazy lore, and they wanted to contact one of the writers who had worked on it, and I do some writing for it, and also look over things that their writers have written, and we try to make sure that it fits the lore.
It's awesome. It's super cool. And Eddie, if you could please tell us a bit about Curseborn and the Curseborn Player's Guide.
Yeah, so Curseborn, a bit like Secret World, is a modern day horror setting where all of the players are playing monsters in a world that is horribly and objectively cursed. So you are a monster because someone in your family made a bad deal with a supernatural creature, or pissed somebody off and got cursed, and everyone else in the family has inherited those problems as well. So it's a lot of trying to survive as a monster in a horrible world, combined with family drama and how different families may work together or fight each other. And so the core game has 5 different lineages you can play. So it's not just a game of just vampires or just werewolves. You can play vampires, werewolves, ghosts, sorcerers, or what are called outsiders, or outcasts, sorry, which are basically your demons and other preternatural people made flesh. And yeah, the player's guide is basically a way for players to learn more about the world of Curseborn, more families that they can engage with, or some different alternative styles of play. You could play an orphan, which is someone who doesn't have a family. So a chance to kind of, well, what if you never got adopted into a family, or if you're outcast from your family? Or you can play Venators, which are the hunters, people who hunt down monsters, and how they slowly get corrupted by the curses that shape and warp the world.
Sweet. And uh, the Curseborn core rules successfully crowdfunded last October.
Yes.
And the backer PDFs were delivered the beginning of this month, the very end of last month, correct?
Yes.
So,
In fact, we also allowed for an errata, so people could notes things that have been maybe slightly off, or questions about on the Curseborn book. And in fact, my co-developer on this book, Danielle, was the developer on Curseborn. She's in the process of going through all those now, and updating the manuscripts, or sorry, I'm updating the PDF, while we're also collecting feedback on the manuscript for the player's guide. So yeah, so if you don't have Curseborn yet, if you didn't back the original Curseborn, you can get that via this campaign, but also it should be available for sale, at least in PDF, pretty soon.
yeah, and I think if you head over to the backer kit, you can still pre-order
Yes.
the backer kit from the Curseborn core rules. You can still pre-order it, and I think if you pre-order it, you basically will get the backer PDF right away.
Right.
I think it's a
Right.
pretty quick turnaround on that. So, and then I guess for me, I have been working with Onyx Path for a long time. My first work as developer with Onyx Path was on a Scarred Lands property, and
Hmm.
now because with my company Aegis Studios, I've had a long-standing relationship as one of the Aces publishers. Um, I got together with Onyx Path, worked out a licensing agreement so we can bring Scarred Lands over to Savage Worlds. I'm very excited about it. I think the setting, which is basically a post-apocalyptic fantasy setting in which there was a war between the gods and the titans in living memory. The scars of that war are present. The geography of the planet is changed because of that war. And I think that the Savage World system provides a very cool way of approaching that, and of uh, interacting with some of the elements of the setting in a very cool way mechanically. Um, things like having specific setting rules. Like you might wind up having an adventure in the corpse of a Titan, and you could
Right.
have certain setting
Like
rules
you.
that only apply like while you're in that body, for example. So I think it's a really cool marriage. So I'm excited about doing that. Um, so we do have a question from the chat real quick that I did want to run by Josh. How does the flat Earth conspiracy theory fit in the secret world? Is the Earth actually flat?
I don't think that one's been directly addressed. The Hollow Earth theory is in that in the secret world there's a realm called Agartha, which is sort of a world tree within the world, simultaneous with our reality of what the Earth's core actually is. But in that you can travel, you can use those branches to travel space and time. There's all kinds of lore with that. But the flat Earth that's an example of one. So one of the things you can do if something's not covered by the game, the MMO, or for the developments of the TTRPG, you find some cryptid or some theory or this or that you want to port in. You figure out, well, how is it true within this world? So maybe the flat Earth, maybe there is a near dimension that's similar to ours, but the world is strangely flat, and the people are strange, and they're invading our dimension, and spreading the conspiracy so more people believe. Or maybe it's a cover up for something else that's even weirder. You can work that into the secret world. Once you start reading the way some of those urban legends and conspiracies that are in the game are kind of translated to sort of the secret world setting, you get an idea of how you can translate various weird theories and lore.
So would it be safe to say then that like things, everything may exist, but it may not always exist in a
Not necessarily a one for one.
One for one or on the nose
Yeah.
sort of way.
Right, right. You might
Almost like-
say, hey, there's stories of alligators in the sewers of New York. Is that literally what's true, or maybe there is just a bunch of pale, Cthulhu-esque deep ones who have a society that live down in the New York sewers, for example.
Right, and that's what's led to that. Gotcha. That's pretty
Yeah.
cool. So we've talked a little bit about the different settings. Natasha, with Witch's Path, is this something where setting wise, is this taking place kind of in the world outside your window with like a sort of a secret world underneath it, or how would you describe the setting, I guess?
Yeah, the default is kind of modern day, like witches exist in the world. How public they are about that is kind of up to an individual game and kind of how they want to play that. The default setting is going to be set in its own dimension, so not interacting too much with the normal world, although that can also be adjusted as desired.
That's awesome. That's super cool. I do want to address another question popped up in chat. Alon had asked if there was a plan to set a community content program for Scarland's Savage Worlds in one form or another. And I think it would be similar to like when people ask James Gunn, like if he wants to do a Deadpool crossover. Like the idea sounds great. I'm sure everybody individually involved with the idea think it sounds great, but the logistics of making that happen would be a nightmare. So
Right.
it's unlikely. I'm certainly open to possibilities, but there are so many logistics to consider there because there's no direct licensing interaction between Pinnacle, who owns Savage Worlds, and Onyx Path, who owns Scarred Lands. They are not interacting with one another at all. So
I have a question actually, Travis.
Sure,
I don't mean
by all
to
means.
interrupt. Are we allowed to
Please
ask
go.
questions of other panelists on the panel? Or do we have to
absolutely,
all
yes,
go through
please
you?
do. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. If you
So
have
I have a
a,
question for Natasha, actually, and this is purely just, I'm excited from a designer perspective.
by
What
all
was it
means.
like designing with a tarot deck as a randomizer?
I really like tarot as a hobby for myself, so I'm used to kind of the cards and the meanings.
Mhm.
And so it's really kind of fun to just be like, oh, this card should absolutely be something goes terribly wrong. And it's like, oh, this card should be something good happens. And then kind of being like, okay, but what should the cards be where it's like both? What's a
Right.
success but with some sort of penalty, or like you failed here, but like here's a bonus. And kind of working out what might make sense and be kind of narratively fun.
Awesome. And at the table, has it worked out really well?
Yes, so far it's still that kind of area. I'm still trying to make sure there's like enough cards that are interesting without like slowing things down.
Got it. Yeah, makes sense.
Sweet.
That's really cool.
The constant sort of tightrope of making sure that your system is cool but not burdensome is
Mhm.
definitely a challenge of design. And you're going to have some actual plays. Those are in the process of being planned right now. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Natasha?
Oh, cool.
So,
Nice.
so there'll be some opportunities to check that out. I know one of the things that I'm working on for this channel, I'm going to be trying to get some different actual plays going throughout the course of the Kickstarter, not only of the Savage Worlds, Scarred Lands stuff, which there will be actual plays on Dork Tales. There's one scheduled for taking place over at the Onyx Path channel. I will probably be running one here, but I would like to make sure that we're giving some screen time to other games. So, Natasha, I would love to have you here on the channel to run Witch's Path. I would love to play it. So, that would
Yeah,
be
and
a
I'd love
neat
to host
excuse.
anyone on my channel as well if you guys are looking for more places to run games.
Sweet, that's awesome. Eddie, do you have anything? Is there what do you have planned? I guess coming up for the next week or two. There's like 14 days left, I think, right? In the
Yeah,
players
something like
there.
that.
Any events that you
Um,
can tell us about?
Yeah,
there?
so right after this, like after we're done, like the second this is done, we're gonna be doing a Reddit AMA on the Onyx Path subreddit. So it's /Onyx Path, r/Onyx Path, however that works. And so we'll be doing just 2 hours of Ask Us Anything, but obviously we talk a lot about the Player's Guide. And then next Friday at noon Eastern, we'll have one on the /White Wolf RPG subreddit. And it's going to be a bit about mostly about an upcoming Exalted Infernals Kickstarter, which is another upcoming project. But also it's an AMA, so we'll ask about anything there. And
Anything
then
does include curse word.
yeah, right, absolutely, it does. And then I mean, we just yesterday had on our Onyx Path Discord, we had a stage event where people who are members of Discord were able to actually chat with Danielle and I for an hour about questions. And in chat, someone just corrected me, it is not our Onyx Path, it's our RPG. I'm sorry. Immediately these things blur together a little bit in my head, so I apologize for that.
So today's is it at /RPG?
Yes.
Oh, rock and roll. Okay, we'll get the link
And
to
then
that in the chat as well.
I believe there's going to be an AMA thread on RPG.net in the next day or two. I think we're in the process of getting that set up with the folks over at RPG.net. So we're gonna have a lot of asynchronous chats coming up in the next couple of weeks. And then also there is an actual play going on. Our friend Tom Murr is running, I believe, at Start Playing, to show off some of the new player's guide material. Matthew Dawkins, the Gentleman Gamer on YouTube, has been doing a series of videos about the player's guide, talking about a lot of new material and bits and bobs. So so I mean, if you really want to consume media about what's coming up in the player's guide, or if you really want to ask questions, there's going to be lots of opportunities to do so. So yeah, it's all very exciting.
Yeah, and I don't know if we've said anything about it publicly yet, but I am actually running a Curseborn actual play over at the Dungeon
Oh, that's right.
Scrawlers channel that will be coming. We'll have an announcement of dates soon-ish.
Right.
We've this one will be pre-recorded. We've recorded our session 0. We're recording the actual the play session tonight. And then we'll have some announcements about schedules very soon for that. So there's a ton of Curseborn content on the way. And then Josh, do you have any actual play plans for Secret World, or
Not any specific ones that I'm aware of, but I imagine there will be some. I got to talk with the crew about that. But
twist their
over at
arm, tell them to
Starringville.
come over here and run it.
Yeah. No, I'm sure they'd be happy to. Yeah. As a stretch goal for like one of the last Kickstarters, I ran some private games for some people.
That's cool.
So I imagine they'll want to do some public ones as well.
Well, and yeah, let's. You said the magic words, so let's dive into those a little bit. Now, Natasha, you had mentioned that you are currently in the enviable position of having to figure out some new stretch goals. Is that correct?
Yeah,
a good place to be.
I'm pretty new at this whole industry, so I set my goal very small because I just wanted to get some print copies out in the world rather than usually I just publish digitally on itch. And so I just wanted it to kind of be a success and get some print copies actually going. So I'm really excited that it's actually seeing some traction. And yeah, we're going to kind of figure out, I guess I'm going to run some polls and kind of see what people are interested in.
Awesome. That's very cool. Yeah. So crowdsourcing the ideas for stretch goals, I think, is a great idea. Because at the end of the day, these crowdfunding campaigns are, aside from just a way of funding things, they're a way of building like a conversation, I think, with the audience. I think, particularly, I think Onyx Path has been historically very, very good at that type of approach to crowdfunding, because you have your feedback passes as manuscripts are rolling out, but also just the back and forth with the crowd. Onyx Path has a crowdfunding concierge, James, who is just a gift from the heavens, and I don't think Onyx Path would be able to do what they do if they did not have James juggling all that wildness. But yeah, it's a good way to engage the audience. It's a fun way to make it.
I'm hoping to get maybe some art, especially for the cover and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, that'd be very cool, being able to hire some artists. Yeah, I look forward to seeing how those stretch goals roll out. Eddie, what can you tell us about the stretch goal structure for the player's guide?
So luckily I'm in a position where we have James Bell, who is our Kickstarter concierge who manages a lot of that stuff, which is just a huge, huge help. I cannot sing James's praises enough. He takes so much stress off of our collective plates as he manages all of that. But in chatting with him, I know that a couple of things that we're looking at is one is a collection of fiction anthology stories. Because one of the things that we felt very early on is that Curseborn is well suited for short stories that format specifically. And we already have one anthology of 12 short stories that we're about to release to the original backers. And so we thought we'd try to do something that, I mean, we'd love to do even as many as that, but I mean, it's probably going to be a smaller collection of short stories this time around. But still, it's always great to have more fiction in the world. And then also we're looking at possibly doing some adventures because Curseborn is like a lot of these games. There's lots of really cool ideas, but sometimes people can be a bit overwhelmed by what you actually do in this kind of world. And so we want to make sure that we have a bunch of adventures ready to give people not only something they can run for a couple of sessions at their own home or at conventions, but also to encourage people and give people ideas on the kinds of stories you can put into this world at your own table. So it's inspirational as well as something you can kind of just run. Again, we did really good setup with that. A collection called the Accursed Adventures collection from last Kickstarter. So we want to do even more of that, possibly showcasing some of the new material in this book. So yeah,
loads
and
and
even
loads
more.
and loads of stuff.
Yeah.
And I was gonna say there's ample room for unlocking more at this point, right? I mean, we've got still got 14 days. Do you know how many are currently unlocked at this point?
I just double checked. I think it's like we have 3 that are unlocked so far, 2 stories and one of the wallpapers. And so, but we're pretty close to unlocking another one.
Sweet. So yeah, if you've not yet done so, please head over and check that out. Contribute if you can. If you've already contributed, consider increasing your contribution, pushing us towards some more stretch goals. And that goes around for everybody. Check out these various campaigns. I've got them posted. I will be posting the links again in the chat here momentarily. But while I do, Josh, can you tell us anything about the stretch goals that are currently cooking over at the Secret World campaign?
That was a good question. Let me see.
I know they don't usually pass those off straight onto the writer, but since you're here.
Yeah. Let's see here. What do they got right now? Stretch goals. So far we've got faction specific dice, faction pins, faction bennies.
And those are based on factions that were introduced in the MMO.
In the MMO, yeah.
How many are there?
There's 3 main factions that are playable within the MMO. The great thing about the tabletop game is that it opens up what you can do past the limitations of a video game. But there's several other factions, some minor factions, and also there is a stretch goal on the horizon for a section in the book on how to convert your town to the secret world.
Oh, that's super cool. Yeah, that is a handy. I think if you're going to have something that's remotely modern, having a way to sort of guide, your GM, DM, story guide, storyteller, whatever you want to call that person, to adapting their own environments into it, I think is always a smart play. Maybe I'll work in a stretch goal for Scarred Lands too, like how to make your town a Scarred Lands. Just drop a dead Titan in the middle of it, you'll be fine. Yeah, that's super cool. Rock and roll. So, you brought up a great question earlier, Eddie, about asking one another stuff. So, is there any questions, Josh, that you have for the other panelists?
TikTok answer.
Oh gosh.
If you want to think on it, I can
Let me
pass,
think on that at a moment.
pass that along. Natasha, did you have any questions for any of the panelists?
Some comments, I guess. I totally forgot that I actually played the Secret World MMO like a million years ago, and I'm like, oh, I remember this now. What? And then I was just gonna say the idea of Curseborn, I love games where you play as like the monsters or the villains or all of that sort of stuff. So like that is just totally so of interest to me because yeah, it's like, okay, what does it look like from the other side?
Exactly. Totally.
Absolutely. And
I,
yeah, oh, go ahead, Eddie.
I would say I have a question for you, Travis, then.
Oh, by all means, ask away.
Since you're also promoting your Kickstarter, we haven't talked much about that yet because you're kind of also acting as host. So it's similar to kind of last Natasha, like what was the process of converting Scarlet's, which to be fair, was very explicitly a setting designed not only for D&D, but also to account for the weird design quirks of D&D.
Yes.
Converting that into Savage Worlds, which is very much something that was not the same design you could see.
One of the things that's actually very cool about that conversion is it frees. So it sort of lets you take that initial design philosophy in the Scarlet Lands where they were like, oh, well, wizards don't wear heavy armor because of Mazos' Bane. And,
Right.
druids are corrupted by the Titans. And that's where there's a difference between druidic magic and clerical magic and all that jazz.
Right.
So because Savage Worlds has so many modular design bits, it allows you to dial in on that even better and make even finer distinctions than the D&D system does,
Okay.
right? So in we have in the Spear Ghost trilogy, which has already come out, we have some teaser information, sort of basic stuff to get you playing. And that does include a setting rule for Mesos' Bane. Basically meaning that because all magic and psionics and any powers, anything like that is all sort of handled through arcane backgrounds in Savage Worlds. And each one of those arcane backgrounds has a skill attached to it, right? So it's very easy for me to say, well, Mesos' Bane will be triggered if you're going to be using this skill or this skill for your arcane background. So it lets you put a little bit of a finer point on it than just saying, arcane magic. Well, now we can say, does it affect bards? Well, that's different because they use a performance skill, right? So we get to sort of make a granular design decision about that. One of the other things that I think is interesting that we did not put in Spear Ghost because it would have been too granular for that. It wouldn't have served that project, but will be coming in the player's guide, is having a different arcane background for druids of Denev, who is the one Titan who sort of sided with the gods during the Divine War. And they're the quote unquote good druids. And then having a completely separate arcane background for druids who still worship the other Titans. Because that comes along with, being considered a Titan spawn, and that has a specific effect on the rules. So there's all these small little rules widgets that you can play with that you can really dial in the specifics of the setting. I'm very excited to explore.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I think it'll be a lot of fun. One of the cool things about that too is that you can switch some of those toggles off at your table. If you're like, you know what, that's a little too complicated for what we're doing, you can just elect to ignore, like setting rules. You can turn those on and off as you choose. So yeah, thank you for asking. That is a wonderful question. Josh, did anything pop to mind for you?
Yeah, for Natasha, you've gone through the process of taking an idea in your head and putting it into a game system to run for people. What was the biggest challenge of that?
For me, I'm very used to running games that are a little more I guess customized basically. I find I run games in a very free-form manner, so I much prefer the kind of flexibility of systems that aren't super rules crunchy, but are more based on prioritizing the storytelling. So for me, it's about creating a system that gives people interesting ways to do things where it's not too easy, but if they want to do something, there's probably a way to make it happen.
Cool.
Sweet, sweet. And so we're coming up on kind of the back third of the show, the last 20 minutes or so. Is there something that might not be top of mind or like part of the elevator pitch, some aspect of your game or setting that you wanted to tell the audience about that doesn't normally make it into the marketing, right? Something that might be that you might find very cool, but isn't the type of thing that you would talk about right up front. Does that make sense? Does that question make sense?
Yeah.
Is there anything? And I'll fire that to you first, Josh.
Well, I'd say for the Secret World, you've got a setting that it it mixes all the genres you could imagine, and you can put those into an insane every flavor of ice cream in your bowl kind of a setting, or you can focus on particular ones. You can go cosmic horror, you can go Stephen King New England horror, you can do sci-fi. And it's all kind of glued together with a snarky sort of sense of humor that I think keeps the setting fun, even with the horror and darker elements. And also, you can still play the MMO if one would like to take a little dive into the setting. Even if it's a shallow dive, I think that the first setting in the MMO is the New England setting. That's actually my favorite section of the game as far as mood goes.
Well, that's cool.
And it's free to play now still, right?
I believe so. Yeah, should be.
Oh, sweet. Even better. You can go in and test drive the world,
Right.
and it costs you nothing but a little bit of time. Nothing but a
Mhm.
little bit of time.
And you can
A
find
little
little
bit.
bits that you can pour it over to your game. Yeah.
There you go. Sweet. Eddie, how about for Curseborn? Is there some setting element that is that you feel maybe doesn't get enough attention, or that the marketing misses that you wanted to share with the
Well, yeah, I mean, well, it's one of those things like I thought when we were talking about it, I thought was clear, but as I see a lot of feedback, it seems like it's not. So it's my particular drum I like to bang. Is that occasionally when people pick up Curseborn, they go, "Wow, some of these families are just full of assholes. Why would I play as a member of this family?" And part of the design is that sometimes you hate your family. And so we want to have some families that are very easy to hate so people can play them and go, "You're not my real dad," and then, be mad at them, right? We want to have that rebellion in there. We want to have reason to kick against the people in power and the authority figures in your family. And so all of them have qualities that can be seen in certain lights as positive, and some that can be seen as certain lights as negative. Some skew very strongly one direction versus the other. We try to make them so none of them are just mustache twirling evil. But certainly, if your family's goal is like, I want to find every magic item in the world and blow it up, or I want to bathe in the blood of people to make myself feel younger. Yeah, I mean, it can be a struggle to make that a sympathetic character, but that's also the point. Is that your sympathetic character is, I was born into this family and I hate it, and so that leads to interesting drama that you can get from kicking against those characters, but you're still saddled with the same curse. You still have to deal with that struggle, regardless of whether you're following along with the bottom line or not.
That's a very good point. And I think just from a fan perspective, I think it's very cool. Curseborn offers in the core rulebook, what is it? It's like, do you know off the top of your head how many families?
Between there are 31 in the core rule book and 9 in the player's guide.
Right. So you have like this breadth of families, and that's not to say that all 40 of those families need to show up in your Curseborn game. So,
Right.
so if there's families that you just don't want to interact with, you just don't have to. There's just no reason to do so. So
Exactly.
that's also a very cool, I think, feature of it is that you can season to taste your experience with that.
Indeed.
How about you, Natasha? Is there something that some deep element or some uh, bit of the game that maybe you haven't put out in front of the Kickstarter, but you definitely want to make sure that people don't miss?
Yeah, like one of the things that I haven't talked about a lot in the marketing is just some of the character archetypes that are in development right now. So just different types of witches, kind of a different theme, like classic ideas, sort of like a green witch or a sea witch, and then kind of more pop culture inspired ideas. So maybe like a kitchen witch or a potions witch, and kind of like what
Nice.
does that theme look like for the character? What does that skill set look like? What are some ideas of like spells they might have, or ways they could use their powers? What kind of powers would they have focused on learning over their careers? And what can they build towards? What goals might they have? And kind of just different also like aesthetic ideas to kind of inspire people.
Awesome, cool. It sounds very exciting, and again, I'm really looking forward to seeing that develop as the Kickstarter goes on. So we
I'll
are,
be honest, the more you talk about it, I kind of want to use it to play a version of like the Wednesday show.
Ah, yes, that would be
oh,
perfect.
yeah, that could be cool. Yeah, I guess that's an interesting thing. I know it's very witchcraft centered. Do you have any ideas or thoughts on how you might expand it? Because like I have not watched Wednesday. I know I'm a terrible nerd for having missed it. But I do know like there's like a lycanthrope character, for example.
Right.
So do you have any ideas on like how you might incorporate some other player types that are beyond just witches?
Yeah, that would be an interesting expansion actually. Because right now I have kind of more like monsters like that as basically as antagonists,
Mhm.
things to deal with or fight, that kind of system. So it'd be interesting to kind of see if people are interested in kind of incorporating those as more like player characters, etc.
Sweet, yeah. And that's
And
go ahead.
I'll say, Travis, like I would recommend Wednesday just because, like, hey, if you want a show about teenagers in a magic college, it's a much better franchise than other ones I could mention.
Valid point. Valid point. I fortunately, I guess fortunately, I don't know if that's the right word, but I was at just the right age where I kind of missed the Harry Potter craze. My kids, for whatever reason, at the same time, there was a series of novels coming out called Vampire Kisses,
Okay.
and that was what my children gravitated toward.
Oh, good.
So
Wow.
they missed
Trashy
the
vampire novels.
yeah, they missed that. I mean, I don't know. The author for Vampire Kisses could be a horrible Nazi. I don't know. I'm not,
But
but
at
I
least
haven't
not
heard
such a
about it.
public
So
facing one, if so.
right, yeah, at least not funding hate crimes.
Right. Exactly.
So you got that. Yeah, I'll definitely entertain the idea of checking out Wednesday. I'm a big fan of the Addams Family, so it's kind of a tragedy that I haven't watched it. So, but the thing that I was going to say that brings up is I just want to reinforce that these crowdfunding campaigns are a conversation with the audience and with the community that builds. So that's another reason that I would recommend getting involved with any campaign that sounds interesting to you, because you can go in, you can leave comments, you can get involved, you can ask the creators questions, you can, and some of those things do impact and guide the game. Um, for myself, in fact, not only are we going to have like feedback opportunities throughout the crowdfunder and well after it's done for the Scarlands Players Guide, there are actually perks that you can get. There's a consulting developer perk that you can get. It's $100, but basically it's going to plug you into email communications about what's going on, like if I'm hiring writers, things along those lines. different draft stages where you'll be able to review them and sort of give your feedback and see where things are going in those. That's all available. And I also have a premium tier. It's $500, but I think it's worth it. Where I will basically develop your game supplement up to 10,000 words for any community content program that is valid, or if you even want to do like an original system or something like that. The important point being that it's a thing you can legally release. But so
Indeed.
I've got a little bit of experience under my belt developing games, so I figure why not share that? Why not sell myself in that regard as well? But that brings up the other question I wanted to ask, which was um, if there are specific perks in your campaign that you would like to bring to folks' attention, whether that be if you want to just list the perks or if there's a couple that really sort of pop out to you. And we'll start that off, if you don't mind, with partially because you have a stream cat and they're adorable.
Very
So,
That's milk.
if you could, well, we
Milk.
love milk and we want to see more of them. But yeah, any specific perks that you want to talk about, or do you just
Yeah,
want to list
perks
the
we have
perks?
right now. We have the basic like get your name in the list of backers. And then the first one that's of interest is kind of you can name a non-player character that'll be in some of the pre-made adventure material, kind of your own name or anyone else's that you want in there. And that kind of yeah, just kind of like influence kind of what characters we're gonna see. And yeah, I think I might it might be one of the stretch goals would be more options for that kind of stuff as well.
Cool, very cool. Eddie, any particular perks that you want to call out, or just
Yeah, there's a few different ones. One is if you are a retailer, we do have what we call the network path backing range, which allows you to buy 5 copies so that you can actually at a discount so you can then sell them in your store. We've had a few retailers here and they're taking advantage of those kind of perks, which is great. We also have our aesthetic path option, which allows you to submit a name to be used as a background character in the manuscript. So you can actually have a small impact on the setting of the game by introducing a character that you name. And then finally, there's the Maven path, where you actually get to play a game of Curseborn with someone who was involved in the production of the books. So if you really got a sense of what the game is like from people who've worked on it, that's a great opportunity. So yeah, those are definitely 3 that you can check out.
sweet? And I do also want to just call a little bit of attention to the retailer perk. Another way that people can use that, if you're really interested in getting a hold of the player's guide, but you just aren't in a position to back it right now, maybe shipping's a problem, whatever that issue might be. If you can get together a few people in your local community and go to your
Yeah,
friendly local game store and say, hey, can you all order this? We will definitely pick it up. There's another path to getting your hands on
right.
the
You
books.
do need to be a
So
retailer to submit to the ballot. I mean, we do check, ask, make sure you're a retailer. But you're right. If you go to your local game store and say, hey, we're willing to chip in, if you're willing to, we'll buy a few copies and they have a couple left to sell at the store, absolutely, that's the way you can do it.
yeah, I highly recommend that because I do know that shipping is a real concern for folks. That's part of that. Well, it's a not insignificant portion of why I decided to structure the Scarred Lands Player's Guide Kickstarter the way I did, relying on POE and PDF and not doing a traditional print run because I don't know if you noticed, there's kind of trash fires all over the world right now, and things like printing and shipping are difficult. They're logistically difficult, and they're difficult for individual people to negotiate. So whatever we can do to eliminate noise in that regard, I think is always a good thing to do for crowdfunders. Josh, any particular perks or just general perks you want to discuss about the secret role?
I'm sure there are some that I don't know about, but you can get your name in the book. There are, of course, a lot of physical items. But if you want to keep up to date on all that, the best place to go to would be the Star Anvil Studios on Discord.
Oh, excellent. Yes. Yeah, definitely check them out. And I know they're pretty active over there. I've had the occasion of speaking with some of the folks at Star Anvil, and they're very. It's always been a very pleasant experience. Very cool people. I'm glad to see their book doing well. Well,
Yeah.
folks, we are coming up to the end here, and I know Eddie has a AMA to get to
I
that I
do.
will probably be haunting myself. Um,
Oh,
so
can we get a link to that in the Twitch chat?
absolutely, yeah.
As soon as I get a link, yeah, we're waiting for the actual post to go live. But
Yeah, we can, but it is at the
/RPG.
slash RPG, right?
Yep.
So
I just
I'll
double
get
checked while we were talking, and then yes, that is correct.
I'll get a link to that in the Twitch chat for sure. And so if you head over to there and just control
Lurk around.
Right.
control R a lot or whatever, just refresh, it'll show up. So yeah, definitely check that out. I don't know that I have anything live going on later today. I'll probably poke my head in over at the AMA, at least a little bit. If you're heading to the AMA and you have any questions about the videos for Curseborn, please ask them because it makes me feel all special inside.
It's true. Yes, Travis did put together the videos, and the one for the players guide are really cool. So
Yeah. Thank you. And the script for that VO was by Eddie, which also turned out very well. I'm really happy with how that Kickstarter
that was fun.
turned out. Yeah, it was a good time. Is there anything that you have coming up in the immediate future, appearance-wise, that you wanted to promote, Joshua?
We'll definitely check out Dune Awakening. A lot of writing in there. You get to see a world where they had a whole war to destroy AI. So hey.
it's
That's
the
positive.
it's the preview of next season of the United States of America.
Goals.
Yeah. And also I have a story in that upcoming Curseborn anthology, so check that out.
Excellent, rock and roll. Natasha, any upcoming appearances that you would like to promote?
Nothing set down yet, but if you follow my Twitch channel, there will be some stuff coming up soon, probably on Dork Tales on my channel and possibly elsewhere as well. So, yeah.
Here, if I have anything to say about it, we'll definitely have some stuff. And then Natasha and I will be next Thursday. I will be over at Dork Tales for episode 1 of Scarredlands, Cities, and Dust. That is the other thing I do want to make sure that I talk about because I haven't talked about it enough.
And that was fun to build characters for. I've got my character all ready to go. I'm
super psyched about it. Dixie Cochran from Onyx Path is going to be with us, and she's playing a Pateran, which is perfect because they are bat people. And if you know Dixie, you know how much
she was so psyched about that.
Very appropriate.
But yeah, one of the things that I wanted to talk about is this will be the first time in the 25-year publication history of Scarredlands that all continents and land masses of Skarn, of the world of Scarredlands, will be under the same cover. So that's a very interesting feature. Yeah, we're going to have a chapter on each different continent. The actual play that we're running takes place on the continent of Asherak, which is a desert wasteland because of a horrible ecological disaster that occurred during the Titans War, and we may even find out a little bit about what the secret, real causes behind that were during our actual play over at Dork Tales.
Capitalism.
Capitalism, basically, yes. It's all capitalism, all the way down. Well, that said, folks, thank you all so much in the audience who've come and checked this out. I do hope that you will head over and back one or all of the various Kickstarters we've been talking about today. If you're watching this later on in Memorex, things will still be running for a little while, so definitely do check out those links. If this has led you to back at any of those places, please drop a comment and let us know. Like, hey, I watched this over at the Plastic Age Plays stream. It's always fun to know where new eyeballs are coming from. And of course, you can find me as at Travis Legg pretty much everywhere on social media. Joshua, where's the best place to get a hold of you?
You can find me over at Blue Sky, Joshua Deach, at Joshua Deach. That's probably the best place. I'm sometimes on Discord hanging around the Onyx Path area, and probably more in the Star Anvil Studio area as well as things ramp up.
Sweet. Eddie, where's the best place to find you?
You can find me at pugsteady.com. That's my personal website. That's also where you can find me on Blue Sky. Or if you want to find out more about Curseborn, you can go to curseborn.com.
Excellent. And Natasha, where's the best place to find you?
Hi, Milk.
You can find me here on Twitch at Natasha Tuskovich Designs. You can find me elsewhere on the internet under that same name. If you're ever in Rome, Italy, check out my painting course, Paint Rome, on Instagram. And yeah, other than that, I do a million things on the internet, but those are the two that are most relevant right now.
Well, thank you all so much for the time. It's been super cool hanging out. Best of luck to all of you with your crowdfunders, and we will see you again real soon. Those of you at home, head over to the AMA. Let's go talk about Curseborn on Reddit, and take care of yourselves and each other. It is a
Thanks so much for putting this on. This is great.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah,
I
thank
really
you.
appreciate you being here. It's a dark world out there, folks. Be the light in somebody else's life. See you later.
Bye.